there were some things in Cloudflare's durable objects that you felt could be improved. What are those things?
I want to be clear, like I very much love durable objects. I think that the team working on it's great. I talk a lot of crap on Twitter, but yeah, I think that there are a lot of patterns that I think Cloudflare and us see a lot of the same areas of improvement. Like they acquired the database team, so clearly the database team is working a lot on like front end stuff for the durable objects. I would be surprised if they didn't have a version of Rivet Inspector coming out soon. But on the more developer facing side, durable objects is like the core primitive. And so what Cloudflare did is so Neil built PartyKit because he had the foresight to see like, hey, we can take some of these like difficult sharp edges of durable objects and just like make it really easy to do just real time. And then, Cloudflare obviously saw that and was like, let's bring that into the core. Agents, same thing. It's like, it effectively started as just a subclass of a durable object, and they called it an agent. But they've been adding some more and more features over the years to make it more agent specific. For us, we think that the primitive of like an actor needs a couple extra things to become more powerful. One of the most important ones is lifecycle management. With durable objects, it seems I don't know how it's implemented to the hood, so I don't want to put the words into anyone else's mouth. But it seems like durable objects they lean into the durability of it and kind of shut off your objects as needed. And so if you're building something like a game server or real time or a long running job, like it's not suitable for those use cases. I've recommended a durable object to a friend to build a real time game a bit ago, and it's been a nightmare for him. And I kind of regret doing that. But with Rivet, on the other hand, like we care a lot about lifecycle. So the engine is responsible for a lot of complex logic with like how do you handle actor migrations, actor upgrades, of course, actor failover. And you can configure the engine to like leave your actor running until you are ready to actually like move it over. So kind of tying back to our roots in game servers is like, we can't shut off game servers. That's a terrible idea. And so we take that. So you can actually do things on durable objects like long running image conversions. Like you could hook it up to FFmpeg and do like a hour-long conversion. That's totally doable on Rivet actors. Same thing for game server, same thing for like background jobs. That's one. And along with that, you get some things like lifecycle hooks. Another one that I feel pretty strongly about is integrating durable objects takes a lot of context. You need to like really know how the Cloudflare platform works. So their platform requires you to have a fetch handler in the middle. So when you make a request, it goes to a fetch handler and the fetch handler routes it to a durable object. With Rivet, that is still an option. A lot of companies, let's say, get more mature, go towards that. But when you're starting, usually you're like, I just want a Rivet actor and I just want to talk straight to it. I don't need anything else in between. So we actually provide like React integrations. We provide like native client integrations. We even have a Rust integration that can work with like Python. And so you can just on your client say, get or create an actor, and then it'll give you an actor and you can talk to it. I'm going on, so I'm going to rapid fire a couple other things that we like a lot. Another one, input state. You can pass the input state to your durable object or to your Rivet actor, and this extends to durable objects. There's no idea of a constructor in a durable object. We have full type safety on the API. I think they've been catching up on that, but all the way down to client, you have full type safety. Let's see, you can get your actor key within the Rivet actor. So durable objects, it's hard to know what your durable object is actually doing. You kind of have to like add all sorts of metadata in every single request. We have a metadata object that can see everything from your name, your key, your input, yes, I'm pulling a blank the last one. Let's see. Rivet itself lets you define which region your actors run in. So Rivet is a multi-region deployment. This is something I don't talk enough about. We have a really cool system for handling like multi-region scaling. And so you can actually say, hey, I need this actor to run over here. Cloudflare has a lot of limitations on that. Let's see. Connection persistence is another big one. So on the topic of failover, most people don't handle WebSocket disconnects and stuff like that correctly on durable objects. We handle that for you. So if you open a WebSocket from the client, your actor could upgrade, it could migrate, and the WebSocket could be uninterrupted. I'll leave it there. But there's a lot of small things like that we include in the core primitive that I think are important for 90% of use cases.
Yeah, the WebSocket thing in particular. Oh, please.
Yeah, the last one is events. We have a native concept of events. And so you can actually do real time is dead simple in Rivet. And that also means that we also provide an abstraction over WebSockets, service-end events, and HTTP to just choose the right protocol for you. I'll quit.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I was going to say one of the things in durable objects that can be hard is just like handling WebSockets in general. But there's a really subtle case is, so they have this special WebSocket handler where they'll like It like safely allows the durable object to go to sleep. And if you don't use it or use it incorrectly, it can keep your durable object open for a long time, which actually gets very expensive very fast. So it's like a good way to get a surprise bill if you're not architecting it correctly, which is unfortunate.
That's the point you're making is another really interesting one. And something I think Cloudflare has done very well, but they're also very quiet about, is the fact that Cloudflare is not cheap at all. They're really, really good about making it like seem cheap to the user. Like the value you get out of the platform is much, much higher than like what the actual compute costs. But if you go run the numbers and compare it to VPS, it's their margins are nuts. And I like more power to them. But it's interesting to see like the disconnect between the actual price of what you're paying versus like, yeah, the price you're paying versus like the value you get out of it. Because to your point, if you leave a durable object on and it doesn't go to sleep, then it's actually really expensive. You know, you might as well be paying for like a VM at that point.
I'm doing one off the cuff. So when I look at this API, I see state, I see actions. Ever since our episode with XState, I see XState everywhere, and XState in the cloud seems like a really cool proposition. So have you guys like tested the waters with that? Done some like tech demos of what would a state machine be here? Because it looks like you're like 2/5 of the way to state machine.
Yeah, we have a lot of ideas. I have a linear project where I just dump ideas. I got like a great key binding. I'm just like press C, send an idea, and it's so many. There are a couple of integrations that I really want to do, but like our focus has been primarily let's get like self-hosting in the open source the best experience possible. And I really like what we did it with version 2. It's literally like a Docker run, you download a binary, and then you just say, here's what the engine runs, and it just works now. So now we're actually able to start tackling some of the fun stuff. So to list off a few that I'm really excited about, Live Store, number one, like for local first sync with Rivet actors is like a really great use case. The second one being effect workflows. I think that makes a lot of sense for actors, to your point, because tying it back to the stateful compute, it's like an effect workflow can be running for a long time, but you also need the durability in case your machine crashes. XState, I haven't messed around with as much, but I've looked at it a couple times, and like it seems like there's a lot of overlap in terms of that type of thing. Yeah, let's see other integrations off the top of my head. I'm trying to remember. Of course, BetterAuth, we have a BetterAuth integration, and we have a better one coming soon. I'm pulling a blank on so many. There's so many cool ideas. Like local first, durable workflows, and real-time stuff. I even thought about like adding Socket IO support just for fun.
Yeah, you certainly aren't lacking for integrations. Even though you guys don't have all that many, you still have quite a lot. Like you list like every major JavaScript thing I know about it.
It's because I see Rivet actors as like an undervalued primitive in the TypeScript ecosystem. If you go to Java, if you go to C#, go to Elixir, like they all have their own versions of what Rivet actors are. So in C#, they have the Orleans framework, and specifically virtual actors is like the closest one-for-one comparison. Akka in Java, and of course like Elixir and OTP. And I think it's interesting that this hasn't caught on in JavaScript at all. And I want to asterisk that because I think JavaScript developers I think everyone has to like thank JavaScript developers for like being willing to try a lot of new ideas and being able to like innovate and everything. But it's interesting that like the actor pattern just never really made its way into JavaScript until durable objects like really popularized the idea. Yeah, and so I think the reason that we're like so focused on so many integrations is because I don't want to say I don't think every application needs that Rivet actors, but I think it is definitely a primitive that replaces a huge swath of complexity in most applications. Like most applications are trying to rebuild what Rivet actors make simple with like event sourcing with Kafka, trying to use temporal, which is ungodly difficult to use. Real-time stuff, you're setting up pub/sub servers and all sorts of like crazy persistence mechanisms, all the stuff that Redis is trying to ship. Like it becomes dead simple in Rivet. And so I think that there's a lot of opportunities for us to work with these other tools.